Hello, Libra. How are you doing today? I hope that you're doing well. I'm really looking forward to chatting with you. I got a few more messages than usual today, so I'll do my best to get through all the channeled messages in time, and several interesting dream messages as well that I can't wait to share with you. So we'll be reading for January. And as always with the live readings, a lot of what I look at in the channeled messages and also when we look at the deep past in the past will also be relevant if you're watching it in December. And also you're more prepared and ready for what's coming through. So Apollo's interested in what has been written here as well. But I'm going to put this sweet little creature down so we can get started and talk a little bit about what's coming through in the month ahead. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. And as I said, we'll be reading for Libra. You can use this for sun, rising, and moon. You can also watch on behalf of anyone in your life that you care about. And if you happen to know a little bit more about the different placements in your chart, you can use this for that as well. For instance, like Venus and whatnot. So with that being said, let me talk a little bit about how it's structured, and then we'll get to business and see what's coming through. So I begin every reading with some channeled messages. Looks like a lot, but I go through it faster than you would believe. So don't worry about it. That's more so that I can just kind of keep track of everything that I got in meditation, that I received through dreams, because I set an intention to receive messages during that period. And then I also, as I'm doing the automatic writing, I receive additional information. So we'll do the psychic download, which I call the channeled message first. Then I'll move along to the Celtic Cross. We'll take a look at whatever wants to come through for the month ahead. And then I like to allow for certain areas to be focused on after that, which will be health, wealth, love, and destiny. So the main part could be whatever. It could be more health, it could be more love, it could be more career, but we'll definitely spotlight all of those in the expanded forecast. And I'll do a quick review because I know some people join late. That way you can always get everything that you need, even if you kind of join at the midpoint. And then we go a little bit deeper into digging into our soul to kind of figure out what will help make us successful and happy for the next 3 to 6 months. So the first part is really for the month ahead. The next part is to get us in a good trajectory. And I call that the soul path. And we usually look at a past, present, and future influence during that portion. Then we'll integrate it in a meditation, which will help facilitate healing and also the changes, hopefully, that we need to make, and listen to a singing bowl. And that's it. So a lot of different aspects and parts of this. I hope you stick around because it's going to be a great reading. I can already feel it. Before I get started, I'd like to welcome everyone. I saw a lot of familiar faces there, a lot of channel members. I want to say special thanks to everybody with the green text who have clicked that join button. You make all the difference. If anyone would like to join, you can do that easily. And that's just a way to help me continue to buy supplies. Most of what I'm using today, the main deck and all the expanded forecast, is courtesy of you guys. So thank you. Also, thanks to anyone on Patreon who helps out. If you'd like to show some support today, there's a really easy way to do it. You can use Super Chat. And I'm going to pull up a little visual cue so you know what that looks like. If you've never done it before, it's this little icon next to the smiley face, $sign. And on that, you can send a sticker or send a really nice message. And not only is it great, very encouraging, good karma, but it also helps support the channel. So if you'd like to do it, I love it. It's very helpful. I don't take questions as I'm going because I get into an intuitive channel and I just want to kind of stay in there. But I do see it and it is very helpful. If you happen to be watching this on replay, you can use the applaud button instead. It's not available on iOS, but it works on everything else. So thanks again. Also, thanks to my moderators who are always here to support me. I appreciate them. All right, let's get started. So I'm going to get to your totem in a second. A lot of times I'll pull something from nature, but I want to talk about first the sort of energetic message that wanted to come through, because then it kind of nicely leads into what your animal totem is for today. So 2 nights ago, I received a very interesting sort of dream message for this sign, which was that I feel like some of us are stuck in a feedback loop or a loop where things may be comfortable, things may be predictable, but also it's sort of like we've fallen asleep, right? And basically what the main message of the dream was it's time to wake up. And so I was like in a dream within a dream, almost like it was sort of like Inception, right? I was a few levels deep, if you've ever watched that movie, and I was trying to wake myself up through the different levels. That's a good metaphor. But I was kind of stuck trying to get to my bedroom door and open it up. I had to do it like 3 or 4 times before I was able to get through the door. And I sat at the door for a second. I'm like, why won't this open? And I went in intuitively, and I thought it's because of fear, anticipation, uncertainty. Fear was a big part of it. I was afraid who or what would be on the other side of the door. The unknown, right? And so as soon as I thought it's going to be okay, the door opened. And then I woke up, and I wasn't at the door, I was in bed. And then I woke up and tried the door to make sure that I was actually awake, and it was fine. But it was multiple levels of dreams where I thought, oh, wow, we're breaking through some cycles, and there's going to be some maybe false starts for you this month, and maybe even in the few weeks preceding it if you're watching it live. So don't give up. Keep pushing. Just like Inception, you got to get through those levels. You have to wake up and get into the real world. So I feel like for some of us, we've been sleepwalking a little bit or have been waiting for something to happen. And the truth of it is you always have the capacity to awaken, to kind of snap out of it. So wake up and break up is what I kind of got here, if we're going to make it rhyme. Wake up and break up a cycle. And that waking or awakening and breaking could be a couple of things. So for some of us, maybe there has been a path that we've been on for a while, and it's just run its course. So this is a natural sort of dissolving of that. And it makes a lot of sense that we approach this feeling around December and January. Actually, most of my big changes in my life have happened around the end of a year or the beginning of the year. Some of my biggest jobs came between like October and January. So I find like winter months are very, even autumn months, they're very sort of transformative. And when you think of the seasons, I'm speaking, of course, in Northern Hemisphere terms. I know it would be a little different in the Southern Hemisphere, but if you can just kind of maybe alter the dates, you know what I'm talking about. When you look at the seasons of fall and winter, it's kind of what it's about. Sometimes it's like going to sleep or finding something else or finding resolve within yourself that you didn't have before. A different part of you wakes up in that period. And so I don't know why, but I've always found a very fruitful sort of winter awakening. And so I think that's what's happening for your sign right now. So wake up and break up. Don't be afraid to open that door and walk into that new direction, that new opportunity, that new path. It can be really exciting, and I hope it is for you. So this is a chance to explore. Think instead like you're Jacques Cousteau or something, and you're getting excited about exploring a brave new world. And welcome to the new channel member, by the way. Seeing what's out there. This is a great chance for you to do that. So if you feel like you're looping in this cycle, you probably are. Opening the door will terminate that. And so for some of you, that is going to mean that when I see like turning a key or turning a doorknob, that could be you deciding to pick up the phone and talk to someone about an opportunity. It could be an email that you need to send. It could be giving a letter to somebody saying, we're breaking up, or a letter of resignation. But it could also be the flip side of this, which is exploring something. Maybe you are going to go out and take a chance and ask someone out on a date. Maybe you are going to throw your hat in for a promotion. Maybe you're going to stick around. Maybe there is some other growth opportunity, and this is a chance for you to just open the door and see what it entails. You never know unless you open it. You never know unless you ask. And to me, that can also be kind of like a handshake as you kind of go in that direction. But it requires you reaching out. And I think that's a key piece on that. I saw 3 to 4 attempts at making this happen. So be persistent. It may not happen the first time. If you don't ask or if you don't try, you'll never know if it's going to work. But definitely this is a time to extend the hand and see what awaits you, right? The other thing here was that it's okay, normal even, to go through this roller coaster of emotions as you make this change happen. So disorientation is what I'm talking about. It's okay. At the beginning, you're going to feel a little bit disoriented because change is alchemic. It's a mix of energetic and emotional forces and frequencies. The first one for many of us would be mourning, something that has been lost. So sometimes the rug is pulled out from underneath us, like the tower. So if you lost someone in your life that you love, if someone broke up with you, if you lost a job, if you're furloughed, all of these things are like tower moments because the control wasn't so much in our hands. We have to react. Sometimes we turn the key or turn the knob, but there's still this feeling of sadness, mourning. It's normal. You are cutting a cord between yourself and something else. Sometimes it's an inanimate object, or it could be like an environment. It can be a person or a collection of people. But when you cut the cords, it's you're going to feel sad. You're going to feel a little empty. That's because you're pulling back in. It's like whenever you cut something out of your diet. We were talking about addiction in an earlier reading this month. And so if you cut something out like alcohol or caffeine, you'll feel that for a few days and then it goes away. So it's the same thing with change. So don't feel bad if you feel bad initially. That's actually okay. Because then you start to move to excitement, anticipation, looking at what's possible. This is good. That's where you want to put the focus. That's how you can get past that mourning phase. It's normal, however, also for sometimes then this, there are other emotions that may pop in. Frustration, impatience, uncertainty. So like, why is it taking so long? If you started a new job, you think like, why is it taking me so hard to learn this? Or why don't they like me yet? Or can I do this? Or did I make a mistake? Did I just make the worst mistake of my life? All completely normal. You probably have not, so don't freak out on that either. This is just the roller coaster of change, if you will. They didn't talk about it in school, but that's kind of what it's like when you have to quit a job, start a new job, move across country, whatever it is that you're doing. These are the things you're going to be experiencing. Focus on your goals, Two of Wands and High Priestess. Honor that prism of emotions that you're seeing, but try to have some fun creating something new. You're in the driver's seat now. We'll talk about that. That's very important. You're supposed to be driving at this point. I believe steadfastly it's so much better to be awake and alive than asleep and unaware. Maybe you feel safe in that sort of sleep state, but you're not really feeling as much as you could. So all these other things, guess what? You're feeling, you're alive, you're awake. That's what it's like to be awake. So your third eye is open, your senses are awake, and you're going to be fine. It's just life. Life is sensations. So that's kind of what's going on. Anything is possible, including the good stuff. So we focus sometimes on the bad stuff. Think about the good stuff. I was rewatching Pretty Woman. I don't know. I needed a pick-me-up the other day. And one of the lines in there was, it's easier to believe the bad stuff. And it is in real life. It's always easier to believe that things are not going to be okay, that you're not good enough, that this is a mistake. But you could also believe the good stuff, which is that you're going to be fine, that you're on the right path, that people are going to accept, embrace, and support you on the path that you're taking. So believe the good stuff too, especially the good stuff. All right, let's move on to your totem this month. A lot of times I will look to nature or something energetic. And today, as I was thinking about what it was for you, I'm like, really, this is what I'm going to pull. At first it was a lizard, but then it kind of changed colors. I'm like, okay, it's a chameleon. So I love the chameleons, actually. Chameleons or geckos or all the little tiny amphibians. There's a lot of really cool things about them. And if you look at a video, it kind of their capacity to change colors, it's beautiful, especially like that blue one there. It's great. So I see them as very adaptable and very symbolic of awareness. They're very psychic, right? There's certain species. We talked about the mimic octopus. A lot of sort of chameleon energy is coming through over the course of the next month. So I feel like we're being asked to adapt, to change, to move. So it's everything that a chameleon can do, capable of adapting, of healing itself, because if its tail gets cut off, it has the stem cells to create new ones, just like a starfish does. So that's really cool. Wish we could do that if we broke or lost a finger or something like that. And of course, all of this helps it survive, right? So I see it as a very, very scrappy and sturdy little animal. So of course, the message here is that you can change and adapt. It may not be fun. You may feel like you're missing something. A piece of you may be missing, symbolically or maybe even literally. Whatever's going on, whatever the sort of perceived impediment or block is, you can get past it. You can blend in. You can adapt. You can recover from almost any loss, believe it or not, and actually come back stronger. But that doesn't diminish what I talked about here in the roller coaster of change, the mourning process. And we all have to go through that. And as I said that, I get a little ping in my solar plexus. So for some of us, there's some control issues or some attachment issues. It could also be a connection to family. A lot of times, father, mother energy sits right there around the solar plexus. Right where we have that umbilical cord connecting us to our mother. So if there's someone in your life where there's that big codependent relationship, that's one of the things that you probably are going to be looking at severing this month. Others may underestimate you. This was something that came through, because when you look at a little lizard like that or something, you think, oh, it's nothing, until you start to see its capabilities. I don't necessarily think this is the worst thing, because if the bar is low, you're going to far exceed that. Or if you blend in and all of a sudden you come forth with what you know you have, which is great insights, then you can make a difference, make a splash. So just because you used to blend in doesn't mean you have to always do that. And you could choose a moment to really show your true colors and shine and express yourself. And if people are not willing to listen to you, this might be a little bit of a struggle, because you're going to have to fight to get that voice out there. But I feel like there is a chance to, I watched a video on YouTube of the chameleon changing through like 5 different colors, and I thought that's amazing. So maybe you can show your flexibility, and you can surprise someone this month, I think, in a good way. Let's move along to the next message. This came through a not so fun metaphor, but it's important to talk about it. In this particular visualization, I saw myself with other people in a car with a driver that was reckless, and it felt like they were just trying to like ram into things. And part of that is, I think there might be someone in your life that might have anger management challenges. They could be dealing with a lot of things going on. Like, this is a natural reaction to stress and change as well. So some people go towards the anger. They just need an outlet. Don't be in the path of that person if you can, if possible. Maybe get them help. Maybe take control from them if they're endangering other people. Because I felt like this is really important for you to sit in the driver's seat, to take control, possibly even challenge a superior or someone that's in control if they're misusing that. Because to me, then I saw an impact happening that didn't need to happen. It's because the person was angry and not listening and doing things too quickly. So that's where the next part of the message came, which was to slow down, to avoid making mistakes or an accident. It's symbolic, but still it's in that same vein. For you, I think it's really important to balance your work-life energies and obligations. So work-life balance, basically. Get rest. One of the things, even while I was sleeping, is I felt like I needed to yawn. And I thought, I'm already asleep. Why am I yawning in my dreams? And I thought that's part of that too, is to kind of make sure that you get your rest. We talked about the anger management. Then the next thing that I saw was cleaning off what looked like paint all over the body. And one of the things that I saw with that is it could actually symbolize emotional trauma, or the things that people push onto you, their projections. It leaves an imprint. It sometimes leaves a scar. So what you're going to do is you're going to heal that, because you can, because it's energy and you're an alchemist. So healing that, removing that, putting yourself back together, and also reminding yourself that you don't need to change. It had a kind of like tribal feel too. So one of the things that I ran out of desk space, and I was like, the cards aren't going to fit if I make any more cards. The other thing that I was thinking about was this sort of like, to use an Orwellian term, groupthink, where a lot of people get in the same sort of mental frequency, even if it's wrong, and they just reinforce that, even if, again, it's not what's right. So you might be kind of breaking through a hierarchy or a familial sort of pressure and removing that sort of tribal feeling that kind of happens sometimes, that mentality, and stepping out as an individual. And if you are going to sort of paint yourself up, make it your own design, basically, right? So show your own colors, your own war paint, but like, don't let the other people tell you how to look or how to sort of be. And also don't feel like you need to conceal yourself, because when I looked at all of that, that could also be makeup. So there you go. Some beautiful messages here. Breaking a cycle, feeling awake, some emotional stuff that's going to be a part of that, because change is scary, but it's also invigorating. The chameleon energy reminding you that you can do it and that you can change, but it's a double-edged sword. You don't have to change if you don't want to. And people may get used to you being so flexible, and it's true. I really do think Libras have chameleon energy. You can create peace anywhere you need to. But sometimes it's good to have an argument and get something solved through that. So we don't want to brush everything under the rug. Sitting in the driver's seat, taking control, working on anger management, and then also just washing away all of that past stuff. I think it's going to be important. Okay. Let me stack up all of these cards, because at the midpoint, I'm going to talk a little bit more about this. And then we're going to look at the cards here. I'm excited to see what's coming through for January. Just a reminder, at this point, I'm usually going to remain quiet. after I get these all stacked up. That just allows me to pay attention to the cards, the messages, and open my channel up a little bit more. If you just joined, you got impeccable timing here. Like I said, I'm going to go through all of these at the midpoint, and we're getting started now in the main point of the card reading. So let's see what's coming through. Just get my glasses on as well. All right, everybody, thanks for giving me a couple minutes here to get everything set up. And beautiful message here coming through with Lord Ganesha. The card was reversed, so it's about getting your priorities straight, literally. So if there's anything going on and it just feels like you know what to do, but maybe you've been putting it off, this card is giving you the encouragement to go ahead and set things in the right place. And with Ganesha, it's about removing obstacles. So if there's something that's going on that's holding you back from being able to do what you need to do, then by all means, make the proper changes here. And it's also saying, like, focus on the little things, the things that matter the most. A lot of times we focus on, what people think, money, status. These aren't the important things. Ganesha is really reminding us to get back to basics. So for some of us, the priorities might have just been turned topsy-turvy, and this is a chance for you to set it in the right direction and make a good new start to 2021. And maybe some of us have just realized what's important, right? Because as everything has been kind of turned around, it's sort of like there is no other way to go now except up. So I believe it's just about balancing out those priorities, which really went hand in hand with what I was talking about with work-life balance. Just take a quick drink, and then we're going to look at the rest of the cards. Okay. We have the Knight of Wands here at the center. The card was reversed, but I see most Knight cards as good. This is about taking action. As I said, there could be a false start. There could be a delay. There could be a question of, can I do this? All of that would be part of a reversal of the Knight of Wands. It's also, whenever a card is reversed for me, it means focusing on yourself. So there could be something in your own life that you need to sort of develop a little bit more. And maybe you're thinking about working on something that you care about. So you might be keeping this to yourself until you're ready to share. And I think that's a good thing. A lot of times creative ventures, it's kind of between you and your connection to the divine, you and God. So if there's something that you're working on, keep working on it, keep putting that magic energy into it, and something beautiful can come from it. Now, this is about taking control. This is about moving things forward. So there isn't a lot of room to sit and wait anymore. So if you've been waiting for something to happen and it didn't, then just take action and start to move the needle forward. Because it's wands, a lot of times this can be physically doing it. You don't necessarily have to communicate it. You could be focusing on, am I like putting in the daily effort to see the changes happen? So this could literally mean like, making sure you're doing your homework, or you're finishing up a project or editing something, whatever it is you need to work on, get that work finished, and then get ready for the next step, which would be the handoff. So anyway, I like what I see there. Keep an open mind. Whenever I see any of the court cards in the suit of wands reversed, sometimes we miss something because we're so focused on one perspective. So this is just about widening the perspective, making sure that you can see into your periphery. The Chariot card, crossing that, saying don't be afraid to take control. Don't be afraid to challenge control, which we talked about. And I like that we see this is sort of like a sea-based chariot, which is very cool. So put your passion into things. And also the people around you, if you are a parent or a teacher or a boss, it's your passion for what you're doing that gets them excited and gets them to follow you, or in this case, gets them to kind of do the work with you. So definitely you want to feel what you're doing and try to work on motivation. And it's so hard right now because I don't envy anyone that is a teacher or a parent right now, because there's so much extra energy you have to do to help kids that are working with this weird period. But guess what? Adults, we're having a hard time too. So sometimes it's just difficult to get the perspective and think like, why am I doing this again? Because there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Because just like the dream where the door wouldn't open a few times, we just have to sometimes push that door open and say, no, you're going to open and I'm going to wake up and this is going to be okay. So keep pushing and take control. Turn the key, turn the knob. You've got this, okay? So I feel really good about those two center cards. It's about taking initiative and developing something and owning it. We have the Five of Cups here in the deep past. It's reversed. I actually see this as an auspicious placement of the Five of Cups, because in its upright position, especially this particular illustration, we see that the focus is actually on what was lost. And we were talking about that roller coaster of change. So this would have been the sort of mourning process, but look what's waiting right there, opportunity. So when this card is reversed, it's actually putting more of the focus on that than this. So now is the time to pick up the cups here and move forward on the journey. Whatever was spilled, whatever is gone, but it's actually brought you to this point, made you stronger, gives you context, helps you understand what you do and don't want to do. There's something beautiful waiting for you. Are you ready? If you are, then good. If you're not, then you need to work at overall emotional balance, because whenever I see any cup card reverse, it can show some sadness, some residual sadness that you need to resolve. So I think that's the one area there that you could work on that will help. And I think mourning is a very important thing to bring up, because we have in recent past the death card. Now, I see death as beautiful, actually, like the overall energy of transformation. I liked it enough to make it one of the primary characters in my book, because if you were to live forever, life would be very difficult, and it would be sort of hard to grow and change and move. There's something exciting about having a fresh page or a fresh start in every single lifetime. We get a chance to reinvent ourselves. So I see death as a doorway. And when I was trying to open that doorway too, there's changes coming for me and for you. So I think that let's embrace the changes, and taking the hand of death doesn't mean you're going to die. Not the way I saw it. So I feel like death is going to take you through the next level, to the next doorway. Now, for some of us, this is indicating the loss of something in our life. So you may have someone that you care about. Literally, we see someone here that's sick, and we see the specter of what's to come. Some of you might be looking at something that you've lost kind of more on a symbolic level, like I said, a job. Or maybe you're trying to figure out, what's my identity? It's the specter of change that scares us more than change itself. So don't pay so much attention to this. Do what she's doing. Go through it. Talk to that person, or look at what you're afraid of looking at. This is more fear. This is what you need to pay attention to. So never fear the specter of death. Like the moon card, it's coming through to sort of help us. It's a helpful energy. And we're supposed to delve into the scary stuff so that we can feel okay. So don't be afraid to change. Don't be afraid of loss. Don't be afraid of gain. It's all movement. It's all energy. It's all going to happen, basically, with, like it or not, sort of change is part of life. It's a cycle. And that's a new cycle that wants to start. But you have to let go. Feels like there's a release that needs to happen. So the question is, are you ready? Some of you, this may not be in your own hands. So it might be a little bit of a waiting game, but it feels like you're going to be okay. Because the future cards are not so bad here. But there is some stuff to work through, Libra, this month, and I'm going to help you with it. So don't worry. All right. I feel like the biggest thing here is decision time. So I like that we have a very powerful Two of Swords here. I don't feel like the person is in pain. I feel like they're contemplating, which is good. Because the truth of the Two of Swords is there's usually not a right versus wrong decision. There's choices and trade-offs that you need to make. And then you have to pick a path and walk through the fire, and you will. Look at how strong she is. Look at how capable she is. She's not sitting there afraid, and she's not facing away from the fire. She's facing the fire. So we've gone from this uncertainty to, okay, I'm going to do it. I need one more second, and then I'm going to open my eyes and pick a direction. Excuse me. Your strength this month is going to happen when you pick that direction, when you make the decision, like the Judgment card, that this is what I want. This is what's important. For some of you, you might find yourself in a position where you're being asked to make a decision, a big decision, for the first time in a while. And you might not have anyone to talk to about it. So maybe it's buying a house, maybe it's deciding, because we're looking at like life or death things here. There could be someone and you're trying to figure out what course of treatment to give them if they're sick. It could also be a big shift for you. Like, am I going to move across country and possibly risk this relationship? Whatever it is, there are trade-offs, but you're going to be okay. You're going to make a good decision because you care. The fact that you even are worried about it means that you're going to make the right decision. Don't overthink. Whenever I see like the center card, Knight, King, Queen of Wands in reverse, it can just mean that sometimes you're overthinking it. You're going to have to take control and move in a direction, and you'll make the right direction. You'll make the right choice. So don't worry about it too much, okay? Go into your heart, go with the first thing that really feels good, and then start to execute on that. I see the King of Cups here. The card is reversed, but I love that we see sort of a serpent or a dragon with this, but like a water serpent, if you will. So the cool thing with this is I was talking in the last reading about how important it is to tell other people about the impact that they make. This card is showing me what a great impact you have on others. Your kindness and compassion show through quite clearly in this one. The reversal of this is saying that sometimes you can take on too much. And it's a very Libra trait from being able to listen. People will come to you randomly, maybe at the grocery store or while you're queued up for something else or whatever. You're trying to do something and people will just automatically come to you and energetically sort of like put all this stuff on you. And that's what I saw. And so you want to have a really strong meditation practice this month to kind of shield yourself from that. And then also sometimes you're going to have to cut short some of those. It's almost like they want to dump energy. So you're just going to say, I'm so sorry, I have to go. I wish you the best. And you can cut those conversations short sometimes because it isn't your job to heal every single person, especially if you're running an errand. So have boundaries, put up the shield of energy that you're like, I love you, but I'm doing my my banking business right now and I can't help you heal this. It's okay to say no to some of this stuff because otherwise you'll be depleted. And you need all that you can this month to really be strong and to move forward, right? And I'm randomly looked on the comments and I saw someone said that it's hard to say no. It is hard to say no, but it's important. And you can say no. I worked for a big corporation and I wish I could have gone back in time and I just would have had stronger boundaries throughout the whole thing and just said, this isn't possible with this time period or this budget, or, we need more of this. And if they said no, I mean, at least I tried, and it's not like I'm going to get in trouble if something fails. You can always speak up. You can always find a way around it. And if you can't speak up, then it's kind of pushing you to look for something else. Why can't you speak up? If your voice can't be heard, you're not being valued there. And that was something that I talked about. So it isn't something you have to solve overnight, but I want you to look at it because I spent a long time in environments where people closed out voices, and that's not healthy. It leads to sort of systemic issues and cultural issues that compound the problems within an organization. So if you can't speak up and if you can't say no, that's a problem. I also thought that I couldn't say no until I tried, and then I realized I could say no. So try it. Try it when you don't have a lot to lose and you might be surprised. This can mean new love coming into your life, but the question with it reversed is, are you ready? It seems like there's a lot of movement happening. And what did Ganesha say? Priorities. So if you want to put more in your love area in your life, then do it. But you're going to have to balance other things. So that might mean saying no if you're being asked to work longer hours. It might mean saying no to some other extracurricular thing that's pulling you away. Set your priorities straight. Maybe it's work, maybe it's personal development, maybe it's health, maybe it's love. But your heart should be happy in this process. And if it's not, that's a big sign to you. But this is a powerful card. King of Cups is great. It's creative. You're creative, Libra, of course. Go into that passion, put it into something that you could do something beautiful with. I was watching yesterday, I think actually on Instagram, Lady Gaga put a video about alchemy, believe it or not, when she was doing her 911 video. She said, when I make a video, I go into it with the idea that it's alchemic, that there's a chemical change that happens within me as I'm doing this. And I can take my negative emotions or my sadness and make art or something beautiful from it. I'm like, that's amazing. That's great. That's elevated. So if you're having a difficult time this month, do something alchemic. Do something that can transmute that energy into something positive. And for some of you, that could be an experience with limits and saying no. Think, maybe I can. Try it in different ways. Role play a little bit and see what you can do. But no matter what, you're more powerful than you think, and your emotions can create something beautiful. You are alchemic. They are alchemic. You can make changes. You're not stuck. You are busy, however. We have the 8 of Wands. So some of you are just trying to keep your head above water. There's a lot going on. Maybe it's just, as I said, for those of you that might be trying to wear 2 or 3 hats at home, if you have kids and family and you're trying to do all of this stuff, you're doing a good job, but it's a lot. So take care of yourself, get the rest that I was talking about. If you are trying to make something happen, December and January are times to get that done, especially January. And I know that we might be feeling sort of like hungover from the holidays, but this is a different holiday season. And I feel like we're all kind of working no matter what. So try to take the next 6 weeks between watching this live and then also the month of January and really get some work done. It's going to be a productive period if you'd like it to. I always find it interesting how people just stop working around this time in December. There's still work to be done. There's still a lot you can do. So that doesn't mean that you can't take a break, especially if you're burned out. But if you want to kind of make something happen this period of time, or if you have time off, you can do something cool, something beautiful. So put the energy into something that really feels good and know that massive changes can happen because it's quiet around you sometimes. So anyway, speaking of the moon, it came through. It's in the environment. I like that it's reversed. It can show a revealing because sometimes the moon is about illumination and reflection, and sometimes looking at the sort of mirage of what could be. So when it's reversed, it's sort of like, okay, I'm seeing through that mirage. I'm seeing the real thing. So that's a good thing. See past your fears. And that's what was kind of holding me back from opening the door in that vision. The other thing for this is to speak up, speak out, as I said, if someone's doing something that they shouldn't. And it also is saying that they're not going to probably get away with it, nor can you. So if there's something that you're trying to just sweep under the rug, this thing you can't. So if it has to be said or if it has to be done, I feel like you need to come clear and come clean on whatever that is. And also stop somebody if they're doing something that's a bad habit. The Moon and the King of Cups, however, are highly intuitive and creative cards. So as an elevated reading of both of these, you have an unexpected flow of energy. Things may be coming that you didn't expect. Do that. Do something with that, I should say. The 2 of Swords is about being awake and aware. And that's probably why I was seeing that sort of wake up that needed to happen for your sign. This could be a happy surprise, depending on what else comes through. But it does show an element of surprise. So the more you open this third eye and the more that you're aware and the more that you kind of embrace what kind of wants to come through your channel, the better prepared you're going to be. Hopes and fears. So this is malleable. We have the 10 of Swords. This particular 10 of Swords is very graphic. But the 10 of Swords I always see as avoidable. But it's hard sometimes, right? Words will leave our mouths. Things will come from our fingertips. We regret it later. See past maybe the immediate gain that you would get by saying something. Also forgive people if they said something that wasn't right. It's not all of them. That's one energetic experience. But I do feel like for some of you, it might be time to move past, like I said, if there's a toxic environment. Because what this is showing is someone was trying to reach for help and they literally were kind of like cutting the fingers off. It's very graphic. So with this one, if somebody won't help you, it's a big lesson that it's probably time to kind of find someone else, especially if you've been there time and again for them. So if you asked for help, if you reached out and they kind of slapped your hand, you don't need to stay there, especially if it's an abuse of power, which I saw could have happened for like someone in a position of management or power. So this is a chance to sort of say, you know, I can take this supportive energy that I have and give it to something or someone that I feel more of a connection to. For yourself, it can be chronic pain. It can be a reminder to not overwork yourself, not to burn the candle at both ends, to really make sure that you take care of anything with your back. So a lot of times it can go all the way from the top of the back to the lower back. So if anything is out of alignment there, or if you just have like arthritis or migraines or things like that, chronic pain, really take care of yourself, okay? It's an important time to do that. You need all the energy you can to live a wonderful year ahead. So I want you to be able to do that. Now with the Five of Pentacles in the final placement here, what I really like, if we just look at this person, is it almost reminds me of the Hermit. She's carrying a little candle here, right? She's in front of the shelter, but for some reason she won't go in. Again, that fear of opening a new door, feeling like you're stuck, feeling like you're left out. But the truth is you have something really beautiful to share with the world. And I feel like some of this is timidness of sharing that, because the Five of Coins is self-confidence sometimes. And I was feeling it right here as we started this. So I think that if you could focus this month on positive mental mantras, you can make them up. You can also use mantras, and if you have I remember when I was in Kundalini yoga, there's a lot of great mantras that you can use to kind of program your energy in your mind, but you can also just create your own. And it basically would be like, focusing on self-love. I love and accept myself. That would be one that's really good. I'm ready for love and abundance in all forms. That's one of my go-tos, so that you can open up new channels of opportunity. And I trust myself, because we want to work on like security, self-love, and opening up that heart center. I think if you do that, you can transmute, going to that alchemic message from Lady Gaga. We want to kind of transmute what's here. And I see this as you've got a lot. You've got a lot to offer the world. And if you open up a little bit, we can make this the Six of Pentacles, which is much more balanced. So anyway, be careful this month with lower extremities. Five of Pentacles can also show issues, like I was saying, with hips, joints, knees, legs, even like the first chakra. So we were talking a little bit about that yesterday. It can be things with like bladder or colon. So that's actually something that I've seen across a few signs this month, is the lower chakras need some love. So give them some love. This is your only money card this month that came through, or your only resource card that came through. So I would simply say, don't limit yourself. I believe that a lot of the Five of Pentacles has to do with your power center. As I'm reading it, I keep feeling an occasional jab in my solar plexus. That's one of the fun things about being an empath. You'll feel like little flares in your energy system as you read. So work on opening this and strengthening this core. And I think that's going to help a lot too. Really focus on familial connections. So if you were a fraternal twin, if you have a strained relationship with your, or an identical for that matter, if you're a twin, because it's such close energy, or if you have parental energy that's kind of off a little bit, that's what I would feel a real close connection with in that solar plexus. Okay, let's expand the forecast. Let me take another drink, and then we're going to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. As I look at death in the Five of Pentacles, I feel like some of you are fighting for proper pay and proper acknowledgement at whatever you're working at. So that's also important. If you feel like you're not being received for what you have to give, then I think this is a reason to maybe move on. But we'll talk more about that in a second. All right, I loved this plant as a kid. We actually grew it in our garden. So for your health card, we're using plants this month. It's a sweet William. It's very sweet smelling too. It's a beautiful little dainty flower. And it says, grant me a single smile. Sweet William, small, has form and aspect bright, like sweet flower that yields great love, delight. Okay, let's go past the poem here. What I'm going to say with this is, because I remember two things with Sweet Williams. One is they propagated quite a bit. The seeds, you could sprinkle them and they would immediately start to grow, and then you would have a second showing in the same season. They smelled really good too, and they were hardy. So sometimes you could even save, maybe they would reseed themselves and you would see them the next year depending on your climate, or you could just do that. So what I see with this is the ability to create. It's a fertile plant, and it also smells good. So focusing on the positive, I think, is going to be really important, especially if there's some sort of a health issue that's going on. Trying to find how you're going to find the sweet in the sour is kind of what I'm getting with this one. And also we see the power of a smile here, which is in and of itself alchemic. So if you do this, it can do a lot versus like a sullen face. So even just smiling on your own can help. So focusing on the power of a smile, focusing on finding the sweet part of things. What's the positive? What can I garner from this? Even though it's got it can be bittersweet, but try to find the sweet. And then focus on reseeding, redoing. Like this, again, is sort of in that chameleon energy. If their tail is cut off, they can grow a new one. With this, I remember it being very easy to propagate. Sprinkle the seeds, it grows again. And even we used to grow it by seeds when I grew up. So you could sprinkle in the springtime, and then by summer, you'd have beautiful flowers. So that's what I'm getting with that, is the ability to create, to find something positive, and really also focus on your positivity, your smile, and helping with that. Let's go ahead now and also look at the other health cards. I talked a little bit about chronic pain. I talked also about lower extremities. I think the main thing, if I'm looking at this, is just to do something about it, because the Two of Swords is sometimes blindfolded. In this deck, she's got her eyes closed. So this is really about waking up. And that's something that I talked about. If you're unhappy or feeling hurt or something's not right, then this is the month for healing to happen in that space. When I see a moon card reversed, it can also show some difficulties in conceiving. This can be both symbolic and actual. So symbolically, I saw that it might take 3 or 4 attempts to get something finished, a project, or to get an approval. Also, if you're trying to have a baby, it's going to take some time. So take a look at that. One thing that I mentioned this month, the Ten of Swords has been coming through as a fear of failure for a lot of signs, fear of the unknown. So don't be afraid of that, because you can kind of call that in sometimes. So it's in the possibility space, so I think you're okay. But it's just really making sure that you're not putting too much energy into that. Okay, let's take a look at wealth. We have opportunity and change, because we've got death there. So the card was reversed, but I would say with this particular card, it doesn't matter. We kind of see both sides of change then. This would be stagnation. So are you stagnating in your current workplace? If you are, look at her chameleon-like or butterfly-like wings there that have all the different colors on it. It's okay. And she's reaching out and saying, are you ready for the change? So I feel like there's a new opportunity coming through. We see it coming from the bird. So this could come word of mouth. It may not be something that is posted if you're looking for a new job. So make sure to talk to your friends if you're looking for something important in the realm of work. But overall, you're supposed to be embracing a new opportunity. And if you've been stuck, I would say, if not now, then when are you going to make the change to make something happen? And I also think that you could get more. So this card can be auspicious depending on how you look at this. One thing here is, if you're trying to buy a house right now, or if you're trying to buy a big ticket item, they're undervalued. There could be some, you could get a little bit more of a deal. Some people might want to just get rid of something. So there's a chance to get more money, get more bang for your money. But the question is, how do you get the extra money? Because you might need a loan or something like that. But there is a chance to go into the Five of Pentacles as an opportunity. Like, also, I see that there's something that I can fix. It can be a fix it up kind of house where you can see the potential and it's for a cheap price, but you're going to have to invest a decent amount too. So look at it from a different angle. There might be something where you can even benefit maybe from that Five of Pentacles energy there. So the other thing with wealth, clearly with the fact that we have a death card here, is for some of you, there's change that has to happen. And maybe you have to sort of plan and deal with that in ways that you didn't expect, because the Death and Tower cards can sometimes happen quickly. But I feel like it's going to lead you to something that has more growth and more opportunity. So when we take a look in a moment for the sort of soul path, I'll see what more we can glean from the Five of Coins if we can get some more messages on that. I really love what I'm seeing in love. What a cool image. I want to pull that up. So it says, manifesting miracles. Thank you for manifesting miracles in my world, Archangel Orion, which I haven't heard of. But what I really like about this, I'm obviously like a geek when it comes to astronomy, not just astrology, but I really love the stars. That you want to go as high as you can when it comes to your dreams. Some of you might be connecting with your higher self, with a celestial part of yourself that you haven't kind of remembered here. So you can do something unexpected. You could also be calling in a soul partner, a soulmate here is what I'm saying. Whenever I see the star or something that's this ridiculously celestial, to me, it is connecting beyond just a sort of regular relationship. So the cool thing with that kind of connection is it can feel like brother, sister, mother, father. There's this really loving, nurturing energy. So sometimes when we meet a soulmate, they can be a best friend or they can be a mentor. Sometimes they can be a lover. Sometimes it just feels like, again, lost family. But I feel like there's a chance for a connection, an unexpected connection between someone in a distant soul family, maybe that you haven't connected with for a while. And when you reconnect, it's this feeling of deja vu, like this is what I've been looking for. If you're looking to create something, let's now just go to the face value of the card, manifesting miracles. This is saying you can do it. But, you know, I was talking earlier this month about practical magic. I'm a big believer in combining both the third eye and then also follow through on it. So I would say set that into action. Like if you want to create something, not only sit and think that it's possible, but then figure out your plan of attack for how this is going to work. Talk to some people that can help make it happen. And I think you're going to have some great success there. I see you pulling in someone special. They didn't necessarily show up in the spread here, and that's okay. This may actually be beyond January, or it could be someone that you meet in a passing way over the next 6 weeks, and then it becomes something much more over time. But continue to think about what is possible. Go super high, like literally the stars are the limits here, as we're seeing here. And you might actually pull in someone from an ancient celestial family that you have. And we didn't all just live here on this planet. There's other existences out there. So this is kind of, some of my readings this month have had a little bit of a touch of that celestial energy, and this one for sure does. Because it's in love, do what you love, follow your soul's path. It could lead to great things, okay? Let's go ahead with the Destiny card here, and this is a cedar tree, and it's beautiful. It reminds me of evergreen, right? As when I'm looking at behind it, I see evergreen trees. So the cool thing with evergreen is it lives all year. I spent a small amount of time as a child in the Rocky Mountains, and I remember, it doesn't matter how much snow there was or whatever, but the pine trees always were growing. And there's a part of you that is evergreen. And this is a reminder that whatever this is stronger. This is the eternal energy of the soul. This is a moment in time. Death it happens, and then you move past it, and then you go back into this. We are eternal beings that are living one mortal life this time, and then we'll come back and live another one. But we are immortal. So I find it interesting that we have like a fascination sometimes with, gods and goddesses and vampires and all this stuff, because at our core, we are immortal. We're already that which we're sort of portraying out in media. So going back into your super high star self, which is what's happening here. This is the immortal energy. You're being called to do something on a planetary or on a soul basis that is important to you that may confound people around you. So what? Do it if it feels good. All right. Let's take a look at what I just talked about, and then we're going to go into the soul path. I want to dig deeper into a couple areas in the soul path. I definitely want to see a little bit more about the transformation energy. I want to see a little bit more about how to bring more abundance, and I'm super curious about the celestial stuff. So I think those are the areas that I want to learn more about. Okay, time to wake up. Consider this your wake-up alarm. You're going to wake up and break up a cycle in your life. Don't be afraid to open that door or turn that key and see what's on the other side. See it as an adventure, like I said, some sort of scientist or explorer. And if you feel like you are stuck in a loop, you probably are, but the good news is you're here and you're going to wake up. It could take 2, 3, 4 attempts for you to kind of wake up or break that cycle, so don't give up. Opening the door will terminate or break that cycle. So it is something that is going to come to an end. It's kind of like the 8 of Cups reversed. I feel like this is the end of that. You may feel disoriented. That's okay, because that uncertainty or disorientation is normal. Change is a mix of energies and also emotions. And all of these are forces and frequencies that need time to sort of reveal and unveil. Mourning, especially because we have the death card there, is part of that. Anytime something goes away, you feel the loss. You feel like it's separated from you. Excitement, anticipation of what is possible, that's also there. We see a little of that starting to come in with this sort of celestial energy and the cedar here. So remember that you are immortal and you have the ability to bring in that alchemic energy. Frustration, impatience, and uncertainty, also normal. You want to not put too much into the lower frequencies here. Instead, work to facilitate the change. Keep an eye on the prize. 2 of Wands, High Priestess, basically. Focus on your goal, honor the prism of emotions, have some fun creating. It's better to be awake and alive than asleep and safe or comfortable and unaware. Anything is possible, especially the good stuff. So focus on the good stuff, even though the bad stuff is easier to connect to. The chameleon came through this month, reminding you of your ability to survive, adapt, change, heal. It's a very sort of strong little animal. So you can change to and adapt to any situation that's coming through, and you've already proved it by living through 2020. You can also recover from any loss. It just requires some time and maybe some perspective. Others might be underestimating you. That's their loss, and it might be your advantage because you could pick a moment to show your true colors. Just because you used to blend in doesn't mean you have to keep doing it. So this could be your time to surprise them. It's time to sit or grab, I would even say, that driver's wheel, sit in this driver's seat and grab the wheel, because there might be someone leading the charge that isn't ready for it. You might have to challenge, a superior or leadership. Paradigm shift is happening with that. Slow down, try to avoid making a mistake. I think that's really important. And work-life balance is going to be something that you want to focus on this life. Not this is life, but this month. You might have someone in your life right now that is having trouble dealing with anger management. This can be tricky. Anytime someone is unaware of how they're coming across, I think the first thing that you want to focus on is safety for yourself and for that person. But you might need an outlet. They may need an outlet, and that could include therapy. Cleanse yourself of old emotions and also anything that you've kind of gathered just by walking out in the world. And also, there's no need to disguise yourself or to kind of like fit in with that. Tribal energy was the best way I could describe it. So it feels like you're kind of like finding your new tribe, showing your true colors and not worrying as much about what people think. So we have the Knight of Wands at the center, strong mental acuity, sometimes a little too closed off to ideas. The important thing for this is to take a step forward. As we see with this transformational card here, you have to grab the hand in order to move forward here. So there's like a handshake or an opportunity or a connection that needs to happen. People are looking for leadership from you. We've got the Chariot here, and then it's kind of balanced out by the Two of Swords. Don't second guess yourself. It's always hard at the beginning when you're leading, but you're going to get there. One thing that's going to help you as we look at the catalyst is just to set your priorities and figure out what's important to you and what might be of best benefit to everyone else. Ganesh is coming through to say, once those priorities are in check, these get a lot easier to navigate. Focus on the 2 cups up here. What's possible? In that sort of roller coaster of change, there's always going to be uncertainty, and there may be a mourning of what's lost. But once you step into your passion, then you're the King of Cups and you can start to create. Death, change, movement. Figuratively, literally. There are some things that are falling away. There might even be someone in your life that you're losing. And for some of you, this could have an unexpected sort of effect on you. But I feel like it's really important for you to not give up, because there's a lot of really positive things, especially in the expanded forecast, to look at. When I'm looking at these swords, they almost remind me of waveforms, like when people are talking. If you've ever looked at, because I edit some of the videos sometimes, you'll look at how voices have the waveforms. So don't let people try to pull you into, you might have 2 people arguing for their point of view. She's meditating and trying to find the truth, trying to hear between those 2 kind of chattering voices. So you have to trust you at the end of the day. Creativity, both here in the King of Cups and the Moon card, really positive. You're going to have a busy January. This is good for people that are looking to work or to pick up work or to try to see if something that they want to deliver is going to be well received. So I see growth and expansion in your ego space here, so it looks really good. Creativity and intuition, trust it, channel it, step away from negative situations, negative thoughts, or people that aren't willing to reach out. 5 of Pentacles, focus on self-love, healing family situations from the past, especially anything where it just feels like something that someone said or did sticks with you. And then open that door. As we can see, they're actually standing in front of a temple or a church or a mosque or something. There's something better on the other side. So it's time to move on. You don't have to feel alone anymore. You're in a safe space now. Sweet William, finding the sweet side of things, focusing on growth and creation, propagation, as I said here, and also the power of a smile. It's time for a change with respect to what you're doing for a living. So there's either a better way or there might be a better thing that's kind of calling you. Manifestation is knocking on the door here when we're looking at love. So someone that you love could help you achieve that goal. You could meet someone that you want because you're ready for that. You also might just meet a really deep soul energy. I love this card. It's so beautiful. This is who we all are at our sort of source. We're this beautiful celestial being, and sometimes we lose connection with that. We are luminous beings. That's why I called my book The Luminous Ones. And then the cedar here, showing you this evergreen quality that we can last through any winter, even this one, especially this one. And we are eternal souls, and we're walking through these mortal lives. So try to look at the bigger picture and think, what do I want to do in this lifetime? What effect am I trying to have on this planet right now? That makes it easier. Long sort of goals are going to be important. All right, we're going to go into some very important stuff right now. We're going to look at that change opportunity. What's death about this month? We're going to look at the 5 of Pentacles and see how can we expand your prosperity this month. And then we're going to go into this celestial card and see what it's all about. So this is the soul path, and we're going to take a look here. And it kind of fits nicely because it's past, present, future. So we're going to look at the past. What's the death? What's the change? What's the movement? And why is it coming? The Hanged Man. All right. I feel like some of you have waited long enough. And it's so hard to know when to do it. This card is saying it's time. Because when you couple the Hanged Man with death, it's showing, how can I move through this stagnation? I just have to trust. I have to take a leap of faith. So this is the awakening that I was talking about at the beginning, knocking on the door here. So you'll have to do a little bit to shock yourself awake. That's what I was experiencing in my own dream. I wasn't sure how much of it was dream, how much of it was reality. And then once I woke up, I knew. And I was happy to be awake because I didn't like the dream. And I was much happier with moving through whatever challenges were in front of me rather than being stuck. The feeling of being stuck was worse. So for those of you that are afraid of what awaits you, don't be. Just start to explore the opportunities. So that might mean doing some research. It might mean talking to people. Whatever's required to sort of help you see that it will be all right. But I feel like there's a required change. If you wait and we see cards like Hanged Man, Death, and 2 of Swords, then the Tower comes in. So get ahead of the Tower and make the change. You don't want that. Okay, so it's time. Basically, The death card is saying that the movement is necessary. And for some of you, there is this question of should I hang on or should I let go? The let go energy comes through as well. So you can't rush certain things, but when I look at how the arrangement of cards is, it is showing movement. So I feel like it's okay right now. All right. So let's take a look now at the Five of Pentacles. How can we bring more abundance into your life? And yes, that's the name of the deck. It's also on my website, so if you go to my website, it'll be there. The Sun, it's fine. This is also showing for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere, as we look at next year, it's going to be better. We're also looking at a one-year cycle. I truly believe that by this time next year, it's going to be like a different world. Things will have shifted quite a bit. So I see this as one solar cycle. I see it associated with summertime. I also see it as focusing on what feels good, healing that solar plexus, focusing on energy of empowerment and self-worth. And that's why we see Ra here coming through saying you can do it. So yes, it's going to be fine. And so stand up for yourself and create something if you want to on your own. This is an empowered card. It's also a birth. The Sun in a lot of decks, you'll see like a little baby on that. So it's time to give birth to something new. It's time to, that's why I feel the blockage there. It's time to kind of have a rebirth, reincarnation. We don't have to wait to die. We can do it in this incarnation. We can keep changing our skin just like the chameleon. That's why it was your totem today. So change your skin and become what you're supposed to become. Show your true colors. Okay? So I think for some of you, this could be speaking up at a job too and saying, I've worked through this pandemic. I've put in extra hours. I've showed what I needed to show here. I need some help or I need a raise. And you can kind of set up how this would work. Make sure that you get your plan B before you do that. It's much more powerful if you have another place to go. But I think that you could negotiate in a really powerful way if you do. For the rest of you, this is maybe about starting something new on your own. If you're retired, it's now deciding that there's something more that you want to give back to the world. It could be involved with children as well, because the Sun or the Six of Cups, very youth oriented. So there you go. All right, let's take a look at what is a card that I love here. I want this as like a desktop paper for my computer or phone. All right, let's take a look at manifesting miracles and see what the message is. What's the hope, basically? What's at the end of the rainbow? We have the Nine of Wands. Do not give up. It's reversed. So this is the ultimate survivor card for me. And one of them, I would say also Judgment, because sometimes you see like the Phoenix rising. But with this, don't give up. Keep fighting, keep pushing. We had the card in reverse, which for some of you could show that there's that point in your life where you're thinking like, I don't know if I can keep doing this. I'm not sure if I can handle this. Yes, you can. And yes, you can stand up for yourself. Yes, you can say no. And that's the important thing here. And when we're looking at manifesting, it sometimes takes time. This took 11 years. I saw it from the beginning, and I still don't think it's done. I see more coming through with this, but it took 11 years. So I saw it here, but I had to keep finding the channel. I had to keep looking for the right path, the right people, the right timing, everything. So, but I didn't give up. You shouldn't either. Whatever it is you want to do it. Do it with passion and don't give up. Okay? So one more time. Change now. It's time. Now is the time for change. You should be stepping out, stepping up. You should be also fighting for more recognition, for pay, for you being able to be seen. And then don't give up if you have a hard time making this change happen. 3 to 4 times is what I saw in my dream. It could take a few attempts. So you're not going to knock it out of the park right at the beginning. And if you do, awesome. You're a better manifester than most. But if you can't, then just keep pushing. Good things await you. Okay? Let's go ahead now and meditate. Before I do that, I'd like to take a moment to encourage you to just hit like and subscribe. It helps the channel a lot. You could help other people discover the content here. And so with one simple action, you can help me manifest one of my goals, which is to reach more people. So I hope you do that, and I appreciate that. Let's go ahead and meditate together. I want to work with the celestial energy that we see here. This is super cool. And this is very much in line with my book. So we're going to work with a star being as we do this. So get ready for an out of this world meditation. For those of you that might be thinking of leaving, let me give you some. First of all, you shouldn't, because it's going to be an awesome meditation. But I want you to make sure that you know that I'm going to have a collective reading on the 31st on New Year's Eve in the morning. So I'd love for you to join me on New Year's Eve. And that's always really special. This time we're going to not only be looking at how to kind of open the portal of opportunity, but we'll also be looking at how to bring in abundance. And it feels like Libra, this could be something that would help quite a bit. So I'll focus on opening up that abundance for all of us, and I'd love to have you join. So everybody's welcome, all signs. I'm going to do a general reading at the beginning, and then we're going to focus specifically on those areas of kind of like opening up the portal to new opportunities and love and abundance, because I believe abundance is love, opportunity, resources, all of that. So love will be a part of this, but it's going to be in my style, which is kind of like how we can call that in. So I would love for you to join if you're interested. And stick around till the end if you want to find out a little bit more about how to join me on social media. I'm also looking for adding to the moderation team. I'll talk about that at the end of the video as well. So 2 to 3 minutes of this meditation. Stick around, you might like it. All right, close your eyes. I want you to imagine that you are on a beautiful beach at nighttime. And very few of us find ourselves at the beach at nighttime, but go with me. So see the beautiful sort of purple-like water in front of you as you're watching the ocean gently move. And we talked the other day about how everything sort of seems like diamonds. As you look at the sand, you can see diamonds. As you look at the water, you can see diamonds. We're not going to go to the water today because we did that before. I'd like you instead to take a moment to just lay down on the beach and look at the stars above you. And imagine that you're at a point on the planet where you can see the beautiful Milky Way galaxy, one of the spiral arms. And look at how rich and deep and massive those sort of star clusters are. And imagine as you start to gaze into the stars above you that you can almost make out a face or some sort of a figure in the constellations. And through a sort of technology that you're not even quite familiar with, you start to feel like, even though you're grounded on the earth, you start to feel like you are moving. You can feel an inertia as the stars are moving towards you. Again, you take a look left and right, you see yourself on the planet, but when you look up, you see the stars moving. And the theater above you, the firmament above you, starts to display new things, messages that you need to see. For some of you, there may be a face of someone that you're going to meet. There could be an indication of something that you're going to accomplish. And as you start to look, you also see yourself among the stars. What is it that you see? What is it that you're creating? What is it that you would like to manifest? Create a constellation of your future in the stars and start to walk among the stars. Your body's on the planet, you're astrally projecting. See yourself as a luminous being walking the stars, quite literally, and exploring what's coming, what's next. Look into a magic vortex or mirror and look at what the future is and what you're creating. Let's breathe some intention into that, knowing that it's not just a glimpse of what may be, but absolutely something that you can tangibly bring about. And then you can use your own practical magic to make it a reality. So as I play the singing bowl for the next minute or so, I want you to really feel like you are conjuring in the light. See a nebula of energy moving around you. I have a character in my book, Rigel, that has that energy around it. So imagine that you have like a nebula of energy, of creative energy around you. Then you're going to start to do something with that. take a moment here to really get back into your heart space. Imagine that all the light of all the stars is shining into your heart, and give yourself a moment to get your bearings, because as you travel through the stars, as you're looking up at the stars from the earth, sometimes it can feel a little disorienting. So really pull in all of the energy from your soul brothers, soul sisters, from your past self, from your higher self, and solidify your intention for creation. What is it that you're trying to create? How are you going to do it? And now rub your hands together. See that you've created a key here. I want you to put the key on your heart. Hold that key in place. Believe that you have the power now to manifest, to do that which you seek, to really go into that unknown, to open the door and to succeed, and to trust that you're going to have some good partnerships waiting on the other side. Maybe someone like we see here that knows exactly what you're trying to do and can help you out. This is the connection that you've been waiting for. Take a deep breath, and on the exhale, open your eyes if you haven't already. Welcome back, everybody. I do feel like January is a really, really important time for all of us. A big shift I've been seeing happening for all signs. And I think it's going to be super important to meditate on what's positive and what's possible. I'm going to pull an extra card here for those of you that stuck around as a thank you. And we have the Hermit card, which we've been seeing coming through a bit. So with the Hermit, many of us are already in this phase. And I always say that the Hermit has that ability to shine. It just has to be ready. So the question is, when are you ready? When are you ready to step out, to be seen? Like the chameleon, it can blend in, or it can really, really pop out and make a difference. So I feel like for you, that's what's coming through next. So let's talk a little bit about how you can connect with me. First of all, I want to say thank you. I'm going to put a link here. If any of you want to join me on social media, I'm going to put some of this up here. My social media profiles are always my name, basically on different platforms. My website, I put the address there if you need it, is nicholasashbaugh.com. So if you're watching in live, you can click it there. And I'd love for you to join me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Here are all of the different accounts, and they're all aligned with that username. So on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Goodreads, Patreon, it's all Nicholas Ashbaugh. I'm actually on Pinterest and some other things as well. So it's always my name. So if you can find that, it's me. And then Twitter is an Ashbaugh. And I use stories on all of these platforms as well as Twitter to remind you of upcoming appointments. So it's a great way to stay connected. An easy way, like I said, to help me manifest one of my goals is just to hit thumbs up and subscribe. It helps this get seen by more people. I love Libra because it's one of the more active readings. So it's so awesome to kind of connect with all of you guys. If you've been kind enough to give Super Chat, thank you so much. I see folks doing it right now. You can also do the applaud button afterwards if you watch this on replay. And membership is an option as well. And if you need a link to all of these things, I'll give you a link to my website for, I know some of you prefer PayPal and Patreon. It's right there. My PayPal link is paypal.me/NicholasAshbaugh, but you can follow that link to see everything in store, or every way to do that, rather. And then finally, if you'd like to check out my book, it's available now. It was released on October 31st, and it's available on a lot of different sites and platforms. And the link for that is this. And the cover of the book looks like this. And this is great if you are a fan of sci-fi or fantasy. As I said earlier, I'm also looking to add to my moderation team. So I'm going to put a link here for anyone that would like to put in an application. I do want somebody that has previous experience moderating on YouTube. So if you don't, then get some experience and check back in the coming months. But if anybody has it now and wants to help out, check out that link. Everything is on that page itself. In the meantime, I want to say thank you so much. You were all amazing. Continue to work on yourselves. I hope to see you on New Year's Eve, and you're welcome to come to any of my live readings as always. Thanks again to both of my moderators for making this a beautiful, safe space. I wish you much love and light, both here in the live session here in December and also in January. So happy holidays, happy New Year. Be healthy, be well, and I'll see you very soon. Thanks, everyone.